I'm Terry Saka, and this is Rigged Against You. Today, we're going to discuss something very important that's not happening in the United States, but it is going to directly impact we, the people in the United States. So we need to know what's going on. The euro is on the verge of a collapse, and it's bigger than people think. And when you see how it connects to the United States, it's going to interest you, your portfolio, and decisions that you are making going forward. And towards the end of this podcast, you're going to see how the Chinese, the Russians, and the East and BRICS are using this to their advantage, and it gets big. So hang in. Please consider subscribing, hit the bell for notification. So when I do drop a podcast, you'll be able to get it and watch it. But the euro is in trouble, folks. Right now, Germany's failing economy is triggering a government collapse. Now, when it comes to Europe, it's not just Germany. It's France. All of Europe is in a lot of financial trouble. They're almost on the verge of a depression. Now, what this is going to bring is something many of you have heard, but are probably not prepared for. Now, we in the United States are not concerned about this, but why this matters. If the European economy goes down, as the trajectory shows it is, the United States banks are connected to the European banks. So everything is tied together. So although I believe what's happening right now, President Trump has us on a really good path. He has a great plan to the Mar-a-Lago Accord to lower the dollar by 30-40%. And bring interest rates down to probably 1 or 2%, really get this economy moving. Yes, inflation will continue, but it will stimulate the economy, bring in manufacturing. There has been tens of trillions being dedicated to the United States for investment. Trump is doing a phenomenal job, but the problem is, I think the systemic issue on the global finance, especially in the Western world, is coming from Europe, and there's nothing we can do about that. That's why Warren Buffett, as I keep talking about, is sitting in $350 billion in cash, and smart money is pulling out of the stock market. So if you're still in the stock market, which I know many are, you're the ones that are going to get holding the bag. And you just have to know what the smart money is doing to properly diversify. For those that think gold and silver are at all-time highs, well, gold is, silver is almost there, and you think this is done, you're going to miss it, because we're going a lot higher in the future. Gold is going to go substantially higher, and silver are going to see numbers people will not understand. It will be a phenomenal place to be in the short to medium term, because it will outperform. Currently to date, the stock market is up about 3, maybe 4%. Silver is almost 50% on the year. It has been a phenomenal year so far. Don't think you missed it, because it's not even close. We're just getting started. Silver is going to prices that will shock many people, and it's not on the financial side of it. It's because the commodity itself is in a, I would almost say, urgent position. We have now added silver to the critical minerals list. First time I've ever seen that. Now central banks are being forced to start buying physical silver. You should see the United States importing of silver. It has been unbelievable this year. They need it, and the world is starting to take the physicals. So as retail has slowed down in buying, and yet some people even selling silver, the power elites and the global hedge funds, finances, governments, central banks are buying physical silver. Even Saudi Arabia has come in, taking a massive position in physical silver in the SLV. Because they're institutions, they can actually take the physical demand, which the physical metal in the COMEX is not there. Even in that SLV, I don't buy it if you read the bylaws. All I'm saying is there is a major battle coming and silver prices will go. So yes, as I had said in previous podcasts, silver will outperform the markets. It is doing that this year. So for those that did reposition, congratulations. For those that don't be mad at yourself that you think you missed it. Wait until you see where it's going. Silver is going to outperform the stock market over the next 6 to 18 months. Absolutely. And you don't want to miss that, because it's just a way to hedge and diversify and then sell out later on and go back into the market after we have this correction, which I believe Europe is going to cause. Now, this is kind of just a small look at it. I just want you to see the dial. It's an industrial shock that is happening in Germany. Production in Germany is collapsing dramatically. Look at the left side dial, how it was in the blue. Look where we're at on the right side dial. The European economy is absolutely in the tank, and so is France and others. Now, you're going to see why when I get done with this, where it leads to war, why I believe a kinetic potential World War III is on the table. We are going to see, I shouldn't say kinetic per se, but a contagion. We are going to see a lot going down, because if you study history, as nations collapse, they go to war. Europe is not allowing Trump to get peace in Ukraine. Trump is trying everything. I know he's starting to speak up saying it's Putin, but who's kidding who? Putin knows. If you just go back to World War II, who invaded Russia? Germany. NATO is putting the heat, trying to expand this war with Russia. They are trying to get Russia to overreact. This is a big deal. And now Trump seems to be trying to get on side of NATO. I think there's many reasons for that I don't want to get into today. I think he's trying to put the heat on Putin to try to settle, but Putin is not buying it. He knows NATO is in deep trouble financially. Germany, of course, being the industrial engine of Europe. He knows that they are going to continue to push for war. All you have to do is go and look at the headlines in Europe. Germany, France, they're telling their hospitals to prepare for injuries up to 1,000 people a day. This is ridiculous. They're looking to put troops into Ukraine. If they start launching long-range missiles into Russia, you are going to see a massive escalation. There's a reason for it, because they are in trouble. Not good situation here. So what is happening in Germany right now? In just 6 weeks, the country announced 125,000 industrial job cuts. Think about that for a second. If the U.S. were hit at the same rate, that would be like 300,000 factory jobs gone, or 500,000 total jobs wiped out in a month and a half. Imagine every factory worker in the state the size of South Carolina suddenly unemployed. That is the scale of the disaster we're facing in Germany right now. Europe is going through this. So I really believe we potentially could see a full-blown market collapse, but Europe is going to be the one to cause it. Not a good situation. Now, this one's a little big, so I'm just going to give kind of the gist of it. Germany doesn't have any elites. They're in the global. They're being ran by globalists right now. Merz faces no serious resistance within society because Germany lacks credible elites, leaders. I think Germany has a potential of actually splitting up. A true elite trajectory of policy comprehend the central question of progress and depth and present them to the public in a sober deliberation. They're not doing that. But you skip down here to the bottom. Monetary policy operates largely in the shadows, and rarely does the truth about political leadership come into stark light, as with Ursula von der Leyen utter failure in trade negotiations with the United States. The geostrategic future of the European Union lies in the hands of people with ideological blinkers on, and they're just downright amateurs. A true elite would seek to position Germany in the position in the world with BRIC nations, open up trade routes, and disentangle the fatal involvement into the proxy war with Ukraine. None of this is happening. They're talking right now of bringing in the digital euro. This is a big deal. And why now you know where this is going as far as the game of the war. Even the U.S. now will call on the G7 countries to create a mechanism to confiscate $300 billion in frozen Russian assets. This is according to Bloomberg. According to the agency, Washington proposes not only to use the profits from these funds, but also to use the assets themselves to finance Ukraine's war. I can't tell you how absolutely damaging that is. Russia is not going to allow their assets to be confiscated. That's a serious amount of money. Before, they were just freezing it. They were talking about using the interest that those assets were getting. Now they're talking about confiscating Russia's foreign assets. Now, why is this important? This is why our world is now multilateral, why the dollar has lost reserve status, and why China with the BRICS are not vying for the world reserve currency. They don't want that responsibility. They want settlement currency. They want to be the settlement currency. This is important because they're now trading in each other's currencies. Now, many people will say, well, they don't trust each other. Well, this is partially true. What they're doing is setting up gold depositories throughout the BRIC nations, Saudi Arabia, India, all around the BRIC nations. They're building gold depositories. They're putting gold in the depositories to back up the local currencies. So, and they're doing it through the Shanghai. The Shanghai is becoming the premier gold exchange in the world. London is in deep trouble, and we can't go too much into that because this will get too long of a podcast. But Europe is in trouble. And now not only are they looking to take the $300 billion in Russian reserve assets, they're trying to put troops into Ukraine. They want war. They're on war footing. They're preparing their people for war. They're talking about it. And all I know is if they push it the wrong way, I think a false flag is coming. They're going to push it. If they do, and it goes too far, you're going to see a European financial system in collapse mode. Now, that definitely is going to impact you. It's going to impact the U.S. stock markets too. That's probably why I say Warren Buffett is sitting in $350 billion in cash. He knows. What are they going to do about it? Well, they're going to usher in the European Central Bank digital euro. Now, this isn't what you think it is. It's not as good as you think. They're going CBDC. They're going to eliminate currency, and they're going to institute capital controls, how Europeans can spend their money and where they can send it overseas. This is very bad. They were trying to get it instituted by October. It looks more like January. Once they put in capital controls and they institute the digital euro, you can almost bet that they're going to push for the ultimate extension into war with Russia. This is what nations do. If this goes down like I think it's going down, your stock market, our stock market here in the United States will absolutely take a massive correction. And we're not the ones doing it. We can't stop the Europeans. They're not listening. They want war. They have bad leadership, terrible immigration. Their countries are being destroyed. And Germany, being the industrial arm of Europe, is absolutely collapsing, as I showed you. Not a good situation. So who's paying attention? The Chinese. It is not reaching too far to say that this year's 25th SCO summit in Tianjin, China, from 31 August to September 1st, fulfilled more of President Xi's vision of 2024. The summit caused a tectonic shift in the conventional world order. They're moving for settlement currency, and they use gold in the depositories to give the credibility of the local currency. Remember, it's all about trade. Everything is about trade. The United States is dramatically and quickly losing settlement currency. We're printing trillions. We have to print trillions more. We have to refinance $9 trillion in U.S. Treasuries alone this year. We can't do it. Nobody's buying them. They're buying gold. And if you think gold and silver are high now, wait until you see where it's going. But they are looking for settlement currency, and you're talking a major part of the world. Not good, just not good at all. The SCO, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, was established in 2001. It was with China, Kazakhstan, Russia, and others. Today, the SCO consists of 10 member states with headquarters in Beijing. In addition to the founding members, SCO members have increased by India, Iran, Belarus, and Pakistan. These members account for 23% of the world GDP and growing, and 43% of the world's population. It's all about the BRICS expansion. Look at this image. Blue is all we have in the West. We're not in control anymore. The red are the BRICS. They are going to go for settlement currency using gold. They are vying for commodity control. Saudi Arabia and others, as I said, are taking physical silver away from the West. And why you don't see it reflect in the price, it should be a lot higher, of course, and it will be. They are running around the world and they're buying doré, which is the rawer form of silver and gold. They're buying it directly from the mines. They're bypassing the pricing mechanism, but they're taking the physical supply. China probably has about 30,000 tons of gold. And when they put that with their people's gold and they could lease from their people, they could have 60 to 70,000 tons of gold, China alone. That's more gold than the IMF, European Union, and United States combined. That's why you're seeing so many central banks continuing to accumulate gold. Our financial world is changing. We are definitely going into a fourth turning event in history. How does this end up? Well, we don't know. But all I know is Trump is doing everything he can to save America. We have a lot of good stuff on the agenda, but we're fighting an uphill battle with globalist power elites. And with Europe on the verge of collapse, they are going to war. The European people are in trouble. Once they institute the CBDC digital currency in Europe, and then they put capital controls, they will no longer be able to send their money outside their country. That happens, you're going to see the European economy collapse. You're going to see the U.S. economy take a hit because of it. And I think that's walking them right into World War III. And keep this in mind when it comes to gold. And I know many people, I'm just trying to reiterate because it's not even close to the end of a cycle. We're probably in the third or fourth inning of this. Is this one here? In 1970, it took 665 ounces of gold to buy the average house. Today, the median home price is $410,000, while gold is currently at $36.60 and rising. It now takes just 112 ounces of gold to buy a home. Home prices have fallen dramatically over the past 55 years if you measure with a reliable yardstick of gold. So think about it. It used to take you 600 ounces of gold to buy a house. Now it only takes you 112 ounces of gold to buy a house. What's better in your wallet? Gold, silver, or currency? Gold has outperformed the stock market over the last 20 years dramatically, and yet so many Americans are tied into retail, tied into that stock market, which I understand from this. I used to have 5 financial licenses. I used to be I get it. The relationships. Oh, they know what they're doing. They're 70, 80 years old. They get it. They don't get it because they're not going to pay for your losses. Are they making up the difference? Silver's up almost 50% this year. The market is barely 4 or 5%. And with inflation, those people in the stock market are losing money. Okay, so obviously there's individual investments and there's other strategies that could make it a little better. But the point is it's outperforming and will continue to outperform as you see the geopolitical position we're in. We are moving heavily into a multilateral world where a major portion of the world's population will be in BRICS. They will be settling with their own currencies, no longer using US dollars. That's the danger for us because number one, they're not buying our bonds and treasuries, and we need to reissue 9 trillion of them this year alone, but they don't need our dollars as much. That could potentially cause a hyperinflation here in the United States. All I'm saying is I believe we're on a good trajectory here with the Mar-a-Lago Accord. I know he has the plan, but he is fighting a Goliath, and it's not a good situation. I think this comes through Europe, and I think it's going to directly impact your wallet. And if you think it's too late to get started now, you may want to pray about it and ask that question again, because you're going to see a dramatic shift in opportunity for wealth transfer. How many are going to be a part of it? You're either going to be waiting years to get back to break even, or you could be a part of a commodity super cycle that will be continuing for the years to come. All I know is this is legit and real. You just have to look at the headlines when it comes to Europe, what they're trying to do, how they're trying to push Russia into this war. And if it goes that route, you also are looking at Israel and in the Palestine area. You now have the whole Middle East against Israel. This is becoming a contagion. And if it gets to that point, the market systems collapse, you're going to have money printing at a rate you've never seen, even through COVID. All of that, lowering rates, lower dollar, money printing, you are talking about a perfect storm for commodities, definitely like gold and silver. I'd be giving Cornerstone Asset Metals a call. I would at least have the conversation, and by no means think you missed it. It's just getting started. So until next time, God bless you.
With all of the recent changes in the political and financial markets, there has never been a better time than right now to invest in silver and gold. When governments simply print billions of dollars in paper money in hopes of solving financial shortfalls, you know that it is time to buy and hold assets of true and lasting value. Free information is available to you right now by calling 888-747-3309. Whether you are a new investor or you're interested in preserving the value of your retirement accounts, we make it easy for you to make smart decisions for your financial future. The specialists at Cornerstone are here to serve you, work to satisfy your retirement goals, and communicate with respect. Call us right now at 888-747-3309. That's 888-747-3309. Or visit us online at cornerstoneassetmetals.com. That's cornerstoneassetmetals.com.